far. So Fauci and other officials have been trying to reassure the public that vaccines are now available and they would be effective against new variants of the virus that were first identified in Britain and South Africa. The vaccines could be modified if the variant posed a particular risk, Fauci said, and that would be pretty easy, but there's no indications that the modifications would be needed yet. All right, just quickly here, in other news, travel from South Africa to the U.S. will be banned to curb the spread of the brand new variant. Vaccinations are also lagging in a big way in South Carolina, a current hotspot for the virus. Variants threaten to undo progress in fighting the virus in a big way. We're seeing that in Britain with the NHS getting really hit hard there. Meanwhile, Israel has stopped air travel in and out of the country in an effort to block the virus variants from coming in. And meanwhile, Egypt has begun its vaccination charge with 50,000 doses from China's Sinopharm. So they're cooperating with China on the vaccine there. Egypt is. So coming up next, we're going to switch gears to more local politics. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for keeping it locked here to the Spencer Walsh Radio Network. We have a lot of great offerings of programming to tell you about for this winter and spring here in 2021. A great new lineup. Newsflash is new now 3 times a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Our popular hip-hop show, Uncultured, the best mix show in the game, is live every Friday. That's interesting. The new season is coming soon. The tip-top culture show that I had such fun doing and hope you had as much fun listening to this past spring is back for a second season. Of course, check out the last 2 episodes and, by the way, the entire season 1 of Uprising, our fascinating hidden history podcast, all available on every podcast platform you can possibly think of. So you have no excuse not to listen. Just coming in, new reporting from The Intercept here. Owen Higgins and Ryan Grimm with a great report about the homophobia in the Democratic Party here. Just want to break some of this down. This is, of course, the Cambridge Democratic City Committee and really the microcosm to the sewer that is the Massachusetts Democratic Party. So this is all to do with Alex Morse. So on Wednesday, January 13th, the same day that the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, is again reporting here in The Intercept, released a results of an investigation into the romantic life of Alex Morse, finding no wrongdoing, of course. Just an absolutely, if you want to go back and listen to for background, I believe we had some shows leading up to like late August. You can go back and check late August when we kind of broke down some of the smears that Alex Morse was facing. So the Cambridge Democratic Committee met to debate a resolution brought forward by a local ward condemning the party for the handling of the situation. So, yeah, they're pretty much like, hey, you guys really screwed this up. This is really despicable what you did to this guy, investigating him for his romantic actions, for wrongdoing. And by the way, Alex Morse was never accused of any wrongdoing in the first place. And again, it did not go well. This meeting did not go well. So backers of the resolution were surprised that opponents were ready with the substitute amendment, which replaced the call for the Massachusetts Democratic Party chair's resignation and broad criticism of the party's handling of the scandal with vague affirmation on the party's commitment to LGBTQ people. It got even worse. So when party member Dan Toten, one of the leading proponents of the resolution, voted against the amendment, a party board member, George Governman, shot back, "You," and then, of course, the F word used to describe gay people. Audio of the meeting is included in the Deconstructed podcast on The Intercept, alongside an interview with Toten, who is, again, supporting this resolution, condemning the party for its actions. Governman spoke to Deconstructor, but declined to do a recorded interview. He said he thought the mic was off during the meeting, and he reached out to Toten. And he said his best explanation was, "I really didn't know I was on an open mic." So yeah, as they say, open mic words can be very, very telling sometimes. Again, just to give you a little bit of context on this Alex Morse situation, it exploded in August after students with the UMass College Democrats and College Democrats of Massachusetts told the Holyoke mayor he was no longer allowed at their events in a letter which was leaked to the Massachusetts Daily Collegian on August 7th. Full of vague claims about inappropriate conduct, the letter threatened to derail the mayor's congressional campaign against incumbent Representative Richard Neal. Of course, later it was reported by The Intercept that the charges were part of a scheme on the part of the students to take down the progressive insurgent done in collaboration with the state party. Massachusetts Democratic Party Chair Gus Bickford, along with the party executive director Veronica Martinez, had acted to connect students making claims. And these like vague VS claims again, which were pretty much amounted to one guy being like added on Tinder and being like, "How was your weekend?" And then that was again sexual harassment in the eyes of the student that Alex Morse was perpetrating. So asked if he planned to resign from the party board for his insulting remark, government said that he was leading in that direction. So that's interesting. And again, it's despicable what the party has done for these people. Connecting the students with the party attorney in July to really make these claims and bolster them. Like they're coming after the king in Massachusetts. Richard Neal, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, very, very powerful guy in Massachusetts party politics, as you can imagine. And him being just dared to be challenged by someone like Alex Morse was just too far. And just some of the abuse that he's had to go through for this has just been really despicable. During this Cambridge Democratic City Committee meeting, Totten was outspoken about his support for the resolution that would have called for the resignation of Bickford for aiding and abetting an attack on an LGBTQ candidate, in part because such attacks may discourage more diverse and younger people from participating in the party, thereby weakening the party's ability to win elections. The CDCC is one of the many grassroots party organizations across the state whose leadership is elected at the ballot box. Displeasure with Bickford's handling of the scandal is not unique to Cambridge, which is good, though Bickford was recently reelected party chair by a landslide on the back of the state party's entrenched old guard. Lifetime members who are allowed to serve at will without running for their position overwhelmingly backed Bickford, who beat out the two challengers, Bob Massey and Mike Lake, by 62% of the vote in November 12th. In the contest. So 93% of Lifetime members who voted for Gus were of all, again, this is of the Lifetime voters, of all the kind of old guard, 93% of them voted for this homophobic, I guess you could say it at this point, because I mean, come on, look what he did. Party chair Matt Walsh, a Massachusetts Democratic State Committee member, told the Flashpoint newsletter 86% of people under 36 voted against him. So it's a clear generational divide here. So much, very, very similar actually to what's happening in a lot of other Democratic parties. You can really see a lot of the pure and very, very understandable anger that they had at this guy for just completely sucking the sails out of the people who were actually like representing the future of the party, which is really kind of disturbing if you care about like Democratic Party politics being worth a damn in Massachusetts. But it really shows that like no good things are coming in the future with this. According to Donovan Birch, a member of the state committee who has been leading the push against Bickford for his actions, frustration with the chair is pervasive in Massachusetts Democratic town and ward committees. Many folks believe he should resign and are organizing their individual and town and ward committees. Birch, who is gay, said that folks are taking their actions on their own in an effort to keep the pressure on. We're a party that proclaims to be pro-everyone, but our leadership, membership, and many electeds lack any true understanding of what it means to be anti-racist, anti-homophobic, anti-sexist, and etc. in a party. The Cambridge meeting quickly turned contentious as many other party members, including Roosevelt himself, instead worked towards the passage of a watered-down resolution that neither named Bickford nor called for concrete action. Rather, the new resolution offered suggestions on how the party could better address the concerns of LGBTQ members. So they're completely ignoring this. The party establishment here, when it suits them, is completely ignoring any like push for any kind of accountability on this matter. And it's just very, very interesting to see how like this was just shut out. One of the new resolution's biggest boosters in the meeting was none other than Roosevelt himself, who reportedly misrepresented the findings of a report prepared for the state party by attorney Cheryl Jacques. So Roosevelt claimed that the Jacques report, the Jacques report, found that there was no homophobic intent or action in the actions by Gus Bickford, while Jacques instead said that she did not make findings either way on the motivations for any of the actions taken. A clarification helpfully located at the top of the report on the first page. Roosevelt also said that Mayor Morse responded and acknowledged that there were no false allegations, while Morse acknowledged concerns and apologized for making anyone uncomfortable, which, by the way, he never should have done, because that's just like bowing down to people who want to smear you. But again, I know it's tough, and I'm not trying to hold anything against him in any way, shape, or form, but it's just such a tough thing to see when there's people out there who, they just want to get you. They want to string you up, and if you slip and fall one little bit, they're going to catch you. And like that's how it works with political smears, and that is clearly what it was. But of course, yeah, he apologized for making anyone uncomfortable. He never made a statement on the nature of allegations. Again, since here's the truth of the matter, there were no concrete allegations made. There were no victims. There was no one stepping out and saying, Alex Morse harassed me. Nothing of the sort. It was just complete BS. So The Intercept asked Roosevelt what he made of the suggestion that while government's slur was the most explicit expression of bigotry at the meeting, the entire thrust of the opposition was touched with homophobia. Roosevelt pointed to the state party investigation, which he claimed found no evidence of homophobic intent. Asked why so many people felt otherwise, he said, "I think they're misinformed. I don't think they understand the facts of what happened. Now, I'm not saying that there was no homophobic motivation by any of the students, but I don't have any way of knowing that one way or the other. There's some pretty good evidence there was some careerist motivations among some of the students. Whether there was any homophobic intent really there, I don't have any way to know." So again, who could tell you? It was just a gay student, just one of the people supporting the resolution or the amendment against the resolution, just casually dropping the F word there. No problem. So yeah, the perceived undercurrent of homophobia in Roosevelt's framing struck Democratic State Committee member Nancy Stenberg, whose district includes Morse's home, as an indication the state party doesn't reflect its members. She said that Jim Roosevelt's words and actions during the meeting are a continuation of his pattern of lies about his role in the Morse matter. He continues to parrot old tropes designed to reinforce his hold on the Democratic Party model that will only be changed when we permanently remove these sadly misguided homophobic members. This is just an absolutely awful and outrageous situation happening here in one of the state parties most plagued by corruption and kind of inside dealing, and we're going to be following it for you. The best way to keep in touch on your own, though, is with the great reporting done by The Intercept. All right, so Natasha Leonard of The Intercept has a great kind of feel-good story here. As the first images of President Joe Biden's Oval Office began to circulate online, a prominently placed bust, she writes here, of a labor and civil rights leader, Cesar Chavez, drew a swift comment. Nestled amid Biden's family photos behind the president's desk, the bronze statuette appeared to signal a commitment to Latinx and worker struggles for which Chavez, founder of the union that would later become the United Farm Workers of America, fought. Far from the inaugural pomp, meanwhile, hundreds of striking workers at the Hunts Point produce market in the Bronx were already demonstrating what the fight for workers' rights looked like on the ground for those forced to work in perilous proximity throughout this pandemic. Again, this is a union, Teamsters Local 202, I believe. They literally had multiple members catch the coronavirus and die from it. So they are very much in tune of what it means to be an essential worker in March. And who? What? Who is that? Is someone wanting to raise that? I can't hear you. When it actually comes time to pay the piper, because these people kept our civilization going. They always keep our civilization going. They are the people that help feed New York. 60% of produce runs through that Hunts Point market, and for them to be treated like that, and they're just, we can't even give $1 an hour raise to these people. That's what the ownership position was. And it really was just absolutely despicable that they and it's great that they finally caved there, but just absolutely despicable that was even an issue for so long. So, yeah, that's all they sought. But negotiations pretty much broke down when management refused, offering only an hourly boost of 32 cents. That was their original counteroffer to the Teamsters, asking for $1 an hour raise. 32 cents. Union members voted to go on strike starting last Sunday. Now they've won, I believe, Saturday was when the news of the deal came through. It was the first strike at the Hunts Point market in 35 years. We worked through a pandemic. I've been working here for 28 years, and it's hard work, says Ismael Cancela, a warehouse worker and Local 202 member. He told me that the offer of the 32 cents per hour raise was a slap in the face. Again, Natasha